The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Walker Fire Protection Association, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36788. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting first, just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks on the passenger and driver side. On the angled side of the front bumper on the passenger and driver side, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. As we move up onto the bumper extension on the driver side and passenger side, you'll find a swivel discharge. There are also D handles that gain you access into those spaces for hose storage, in addition with a center hose storage. As we move up onto the cab, you'll find your marker turn indicator light and headlight. Just inside that location into the grille area, you'll find forward-facing emergency warning lights, and directly above on the International logo is where you'll find the grab handle for tilting your hood. Moving up to the outer edge of the A-pillar is where you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find ID clearance lights, and then up onto the roof of the apparatus is where you'll find the emergency warning light bar. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of those items we talked about. First, underneath, this is the open-ended tow hook, one on the passenger and driver side. As we move to the front bumper extension in the center, D handle gains you access into the tubbed hose storage location. As we move to the passenger and driver side, you'll find additional hose storage and also a swivel discharge. On the angled areas where you'll find the cutouts here for your electronic siren and PA speaker. And on the side of the bumper extension is where you'll find a side-facing recessed emergency warning light. Let's take a look at the headlight structure where you'll find a headlight and also turn indicator light. And as we move back to the grille, you'll find forward-facing emergency warning lights and a Pierce logo. Let's move around to the side of the apparatus. First, we'll start with the axle, Michelin tires, and steel wheel. Let's move just up from this location to the fender area where you'll find on top of the fender a turn indicator marker light, and then also your intake air vent just above that location. As we move just to the step area where you'll find your fuel tank and DEF tank, the blue cap is going to be the DEF tank. As we move to the silver cap, this is the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Got a close-up here of those. Once again, blue DEF tank. As we move toward the rear of the apparatus, you'll find this is your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Let's move to the back section of the fender where you'll find the release mechanism. There's one on the passenger and driver side for tilting your hood. As we move up to the mirror, flat mirror and convex mirror. And as we move to the doors, you'll find easily accessible with a gloved hand. This is your door lock and latch. It is keyed, and also a grab handle for gaining entry and exit into the cab. Let's go ahead and go inside now of the cab area on the driver's side. First, we'll start with the door panel, a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information in addition with danger information. You'll also find the door lock and latch located at the very top section, and then just below that you'll find your manual window control. Let's move inside the cab. At the base of the floor of the seat area is where you'll find the red master battery quarter turn switch. Just above that location, you'll find a yellow placard. We'll go over that in just a moment. And then your seat is also an air ride seat, so there are comfort controls on your seat. Let's go back to the yellow placard. This is the manufacturer's plaque indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, the gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of the fluid capacities, fluid type, in the lower section of this placard. Let's move now up to the dash area. We'll find on the left your headlight switch, and then just inside that location a mirror heat and dim for lights within preview of the operator. Also a pull tilt, and just above that you'll find on the left hand side your turn indicator, windshield wipers. Let's move to the steering wheel where you do have some controls in the left side. This is for cruise control. Then as we move to the dash cluster, on the left-hand side, you're going to find a combination tachometer and also oil pressure gauge. On the right, you'll find your speedometer and DEF fuel level. Located at the very top, you're going to find water temp. you're going to find brake air, front and rear, and also your fuel tank. Diagnostic information will display in the display screen and also tally lights just below. As we move just to the right of the steering column, you'll find your joystick control module and back switch, and below that you'll find your main engine ignition switch. As we move just to the right of this location, you're going to find 12-volt access via barrel style and USB, and then just to the right you'll find the yellow diamond pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. As we move further to the right, you'll find your hazard or four-way flashers, also exhaust brake, transmission mode for your Allison transmission, four-wheel drive access or two-wheel drive, high and low, regen, and also regen inhibit. Below that, climate control, filter minder for your air filter on the engine, and then just below that you'll find your AM/FM radio. Moving further to the right, we have some cup holders, and also at the very top section we have 12-volt access, once again barrel style and USB. Moving down to the center console area at the very top section is where you'll find all of the tally information lights. Just below that, a set of switches here. These are your main emergency warning lights, and then also additionally some scene lights. As we move down, you'll find your pump PTO. Moving further down, you'll find your pressure control module. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find at the very top your electronic siren and PA speaker system. Down from that, we have an electric primer for your water pump, and then also an in-cab digital pressure readout just to the right of that location. The cable's kind of covering that. And then further to the right, we have a water tank level indicator. Let's go ahead and look overhead of the operator seat, where you'll find the height of the vehicle, length, gross vehicle weight rating. As we move back outside now to the rear cab area, you'll find this yellow auto eject plug for shoreline power. Also, a D handle will gain you access into an additional area where your batteries are stored. As we move to the very top over the pump panel area is your booster or red line. The knob there is going to be a free tension spool knob. As we move to the pump panel itself, we'll find on the left-hand side a pump discharge and also pump intake gauge. Moving just to the right, you'll find a water tank level indicator on the left, which is blue, and then a foam level indicator, which is red. Moving further to the right, an audible alarm speaker, and then also on the right side, difficult to see, but it says OK to pump. That's ensuring that your pump is properly engaged. As we move down from that location, you'll find your pressure throttle governor, and then just to the right you'll find the pressure controller. Further to the right you'll find your Husky 3 foam system. There are instructions for its operation on the placard. As we move further to the right, you'll find first at the top a pump hours indicator, and then below that you'll find the pressure and vacuum test gauge ports. Those are currently plugged, and these are utilized for testing purposes. Down at the very bottom, you'll find your panel lights, and then also left and right scene lights. We also have a switch located here on the far right for your real rewind. As we move to the left-hand side, this is the cross lay, which is a dead load, meaning it does not have a connection inside the area of the hose storage. We do have a number 1 speed lay, foam and water capable. It's the yellow. Also some placards here regarding your Husky 3 foam system specifications, and also a warning placard indicating that caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the right, you'll find these are twist. This is your real discharge. This is the drain for that. And then also as we move down, you'll find the engine cooler. Once again, twist right to left. As we move to the right, you'll find a warning placard here indicating entanglement hazard, because those lines coming from aloft, there's a possibility of entanglement. Also a electric prime. Just below that you'll find the tank fill and recirculating line, and then also the tank to pump. Just a note here that in is open and out is closed. Let's move further down and to the left, where you'll find your main pump inlet, and then as we move to the right, some warning placards here. Only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. Also a warning regarding foam. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. As we move further down on the pump panel, we'll start at the very far left-hand side, first with your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled ball valve. It is also a female coupling. To the right, you'll find the draft foam tank lever, and then also once again above that is that warning regarding foam failure. To the right is the number 1 driver's side discharge, locally controlled 2.5 ball valve. Underneath the pump panel, underneath the running board areas, where you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move to the body section now. Just in front of and also to the rear of the axle, you'll find additional storage locations here. At the very bottom section of the rear portion of the compartment, you'll find an additional storage location. There are 2 emergency warning lights, an upper and lower, and then also a side-facing scene light at the very top section of the body. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-up of those items we just talked about. First, we'll start with the storage location in front of the axle. Let's move to the forward section top of the body, where you'll find that side-facing scene light. And then we'll go ahead and go inside the compartment directly over the rear axle, where you'll find an adjustable shelf and also ventilation. The release mechanism for the right-hand side door is located on the right side where the latch is located. It's a simple lift upward. Just to the rear of the rear axle is where you'll find an additional storage. There are also mud flaps at the very bottom section, one on the passenger and driver side. As we move up from this location, you'll find an additional pan door drops down for gaining access into this storage location. Let's go ahead and move into the compartment now at the rear. You'll find adjustable shelving, ventilation, and LED lighting. As we move to the very top section, you'll find an emergency warning light and also marker light. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus, general view. We do have some drop-down steps located here, one on the passenger and driver side. And then as we move to the rear section of the body, you'll find at the very bottom section an emergency warning light. As we move downward from the top portion, you'll find a brake, turn, and reverse light. You'll also find some warning placards located here. Let's go over those real quick. First at the top, warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because the line's coming from aloft in the hose bed, there's a possibility of entanglement. Also, fall, never ride on the vehicle while it is in motion. And as we move to the right, the next warning is going to be a fall when you're climbing onto the vehicle. Always face the vehicle while climbing on or climbing off. We do have additional steps located at the rear. This is for gaining access aloft. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find an additional storage location here on the pan door at the top and an emergency warning light. Graham handles are located on both the upper portion and also side portions. Let's move to the very bottom section of the apparatus, where you'll find a passenger and driver side shackle attached to the frame rail. Moving up to the very top, you're going to find a warning placard indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious. As we move just to the right, you're going to find a 2.5-inch discharge locally controlled ball valve. As we move to the center, you'll find a 2.5-inch inlet. This is a tank fill, locally controlled ball valve once again. Moving just to the right, you'll find a locally controlled 1.5-inch discharge. Also, you'll find a backpack fill knob and then also the port for fill. As we move up to the rear compartment, you'll find adjustable shelf and LED lighting and ventilation. Let's move up to the very top section, where you'll find a grab handle located on the passenger and driver side, and then also one fixed mount in the center. As we move just underneath, you'll find your backup speaker located in the lower right. Additional steps for gaining access. This is also the location for your ground ladder storage. D handle gains you access into this space. And as we move up, it mirrors the entire left and right side, additional storage and also hose bed storage. Same configuration at the rear. We have a stop, turn, and reverse, and at the very bottom section, a rear-facing emergency warning light. Just up from this location, D handle gains you access into ladder storage. At the very top, we have pike pole or long-handled tool storage, and then also ground ladder storage located in the lower bottom section. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle. For the most part, we're going to have the same configuration and layout as we have on the driver's side, so we'll move through these relatively fast. First, mud flaps located at the very rear on the passenger and driver side. As we move up, same compartment and emergency warning light located here on the passenger side. As we move up to the very top section, you'll find the upper zone emergency warning light at the rear. And then as we move into the rear section compartment, adjustable shelf and ventilation and LED lighting. Compartment storage here to the rear of the axle. You will find your exhaust is located on this side. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be cautious where you park your vehicle, especially during regen operation. Moving directly over the rear axle is where you'll find your additional compartment. This is going to have an adjustable shelf in the center, LED lighting, and then also ventilation. As we move now to the midsection, we'll start just below this location. Is where you'll find a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. We're also going to find the location for your water strainer access. As we move further down, you'll find the number 2 speed lay. It is foam capable. And then this is the number 2 discharge. It's a 2.5-inch discharge reduced here at the cap to 1.5 inches. As we move further down, we've got a warning regarding entanglement hazard at the top, and then also pressure hazard down here at the very bottom section. Indicator for the pump that you have, which is a Darley, and also a push for the reel rewind. Let's move down from this location where you'll find this warning placard indicating extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. As we move toward the very bottom, you'll find your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet locally controlled at a ball valve. Let's move underneath the truck where you'll find your relief valve discharge. Do not cap this. It does have specific instructions on it. Also, you'll find an additional drain color-coded and labeled. Let's move back to the tall or long compartment here. And then we'll move to the step at the rear section of the cab. 2 D handles gain you access into this area, which is an additional storage location. As we move just to the front section here of the step area, and then let's go ahead and move now to the front cab area. Grab handles and also keyed door locks. As we move to the forward section of this area is where you'll find an additional air inlet, and then also the turn indicator marker light on the top side of the fender. Michelin tires, once again, steel wheel. Back to the headlight structure, housing low and high beam headlights, and also a turn indicator. As we move to the forward section of the bumper extension, side-facing recessed emergency warning light. As we look downward now into this space, you'll find this is where the ball valve is located for opening and closing the front discharge, which is also foam capable. Congratulations, Walker Fire Protection Association, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36788. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.